Decorating Center. And good morning. Welcome to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show. We have a couple of things to do this hour. We're going to start talking to Jonathan Dent about something he had an occasion to be at and interview some individuals. And then we'll have open phones, time permitting. And I also have a travel announcement for you. All of that is coming up this hour. Mr. Dent, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. So tell us what this was about. What event you were at. Not an event, but
I'll clarify. I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't there. You did this
I dug through the
yeah.
recording and looked at
it.
Okay. But Bay City, you might be hearing about the 5-hour-long city commission meeting that took place Monday evening, and a lot of that was focused around some resolutions introduced by Commissioner Chris Runberg about basically city resources as it pertains to immigration enforcement, the welcoming community kind of idea. And I initially wanted to look at it just to see what the public comment was about, but what I hadn't...
Let me ask a question.
Go ahead.
They're using the term welcoming city.
Yeah.
Is that the same as a sanctuary city?
Welcoming community. I don't know. What does a sanctuary city do?
First of all, every city is welcoming, I would think.
So basically what this is a series of resolutions that is similar to one that was vetoed last year.
Yep.
And it basically, what it looks like it is limiting use of city and local resources for federal immigration enforcement. But looking through all of this, and I remember looking through the resolutions that were shut down last year, I was looking at it going, what does this actually do? And this package seems to actually do more than the ones that, like, it looks
specifically
to implement policy of some kind.
Yeah.
Whereas the ones from last year just kind of was a general, we're welcoming to everybody without actually doing too much. The concern with that one last year was, at least the one given by Mayor Girard, was that it could impact funding for the city. Well, this being looking to implement a little bit more policy, especially having to do with the Department of Public Safety. What I hadn't realized was going to happen at that meeting was Public Safety Director Caleb Rowell stood up and gave a presentation beforehand, basically breaking down what is our department policy, what do we do. I'll clarify, I'm not from Bay City, but I've been following the meetings in a news capacity and just kind of interested because I'm a nerd for local politics. But I was very impressed by Rowell's presentation at the beginning of the meeting.
And we should point out, he only speaks for the city.
Yeah.
The jail, of course, is under the county.
And that's something that he made abundantly clear. I've got some audio here that he talks about. Is the computer up there?
It will be.
There we go.
For it.
Yeah, he made that clear in his presentation beforehand.
We don't have a holding facility. We have no say in what the jail does when we take somebody there. There's times where we've arrested somebody, they say, we're not taking them. We're full. We don't have room. We don't want to deal with them. Take them out. Okay, they have the final say in that. Obviously, depending on the severity of the crime, they're not going to turn us away if it's, something very serious.
So that's where he's talking about we don't have control over what the jail is going to do. That's a county issue.
So that eliminates the sanctuary city argument where they don't cooperate with ICE. If they have a criminal in the jail, they're going to release who's maybe an illegal immigrant or what have you. So that doesn't apply to the city.
Really, what did apply is the idea of enforcing immigration detainers, which is basically a request from a federal agency to hold somebody if they get caught on a speeding ticket and there's an immigration detainer out for them. They hold them over for some extra time, and here's how Rowell opened that part of his presentation, and I absolutely love the way that he did this.
Immigration detainers. If I could put a flashing sign on my car, I would. We don't detain people on immigration detainers. Everybody in the department knows that. There is, I'm not going to say, I don't know. I'm not a constitutional scholar, but I know enough that I don't want to get sued.
And that addresses a big part of why these resolutions were brought up, is there are cities that are facing millions and millions of dollars in lawsuits over immigration detainers. And I understand wanting to bring this resolution as just an added layer of security, and that's something
And I don't
Runberg
know
talked
I
about.
don't know that it would protect them against lawsuits either.
I don't
I'm not a lawyer.
If it ever happened, yeah, it's like, but if the department is already not holding people on immigration detainers
Why do you need
because it's unsettled, yeah, why do we need a resolution for
policy?
this?
Yeah.
But I just thought he did a fantastic job in addressing a lot of those concerns, especially when he was asked questions.
Well, the thing I'm impressed with is he gave direct answers.
Yeah,
He didn't
and
beat
in
around
plain
it.
language.
Yeah, plain language.
Yeah, and
And
he
I love that.
and he put up pieces of laws that the department has to follow and their policies around that. And he mentioned that every the oldest policy he said on the books might go back to 2023, the last revision that it had. So they're constantly being updated and looked at. For example, one of the ones that was included in this package, and if you have the opportunity, it's a 5-hour-long meeting. You don't have to listen to the whole thing. It's an hour-long presentation. You don't have to listen to the whole thing. One, if you're in Bay City and you want to have an opinion on this, I would encourage you to at least go read what the actual resolutions are. They're available on the city website. I'm seeing a lot of people kind of blowing things out of proportion either direction. There was a lot of grandstanding at the meeting itself from people on either
To
side.
be expected.
It's ridiculous. That's part of why I liked Director Rowell's conversation. It was straight to the point. He talked about what the policies were and what they follow. But one of those policies was face coverings and the use of face coverings in law enforcement. And it directly addressed it in the proposal. And he said, well, last week we had guys out at a barricaded suspect and it was 20 below wind chill. We're going to let them wear face coverings. Or if there are undercover agents that are helping to serve, or officers helping to serve a warrant, they're going to wear face coverings as well for operational security. And there were carve-outs, I believe, for operational security, or at least Runberg said, let's amend it so that we include carve-outs for operational security.
First of all, first question I would have, let's say ICE comes to town and they're going to conduct a detail.
Yep.
And they come with their masks on. What's the city going to do? Arrest them?
The city can't do anything.
Can't do anything. You can't
Yep.
arrest them. They're federal agents. They're doing what they need to do, and I don't think the city, any city, not just Bay City, any city, can outlaw how the federal agent acts.
Yep.
On their territory.
And there's one other clip that I want to play here from
right.
Rowell's presentation.
Hold it, and we'll continue.
Okay.
Gotta take a break. We'll be back. Jonathan Dent with me. After we're done with this, we will have some open phones, too. All of that ahead here on WSGW.
Upgrade your home with the
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW. Jonathan Dent with me in studio, talking about a recent proposal for a welcoming city ordinance in Bay City. And continuing on.
Yeah, we were talking about Public Safety Director Caleb Rowell, who spoke before, like at the beginning of the meeting, about kind of his department's policies when it comes to immigration enforcement and how they don't hold people on immigration detainers, civil. But if there's a warrant, they will hold somebody.
Yeah.
A judicial warrant, then they will, which was part of the package. And it's like, okay, well, if that's already the department's policy, just let them keep it, in my opinion anyway.
Yeah.
But you had said if ICE does come to town, the Department of Public Safety can't tell them how to do their job. That's correct. And Raul did a great job of addressing, if ICE does come to town, here's kind of how our role fits into it. But before he said that, he clarified that in his 27 years, he hasn't met anybody from ICE. That doesn't mean they aren't there. They don't have to say, hey, we're coming into town. But he said normally FBI, who they work closely with, says, hey, we're executing a warrant here. Hey, we're...
Yeah, this area we see more FBI, DEA.
Yep.
Secret Service has a presence
A little bit,
here.
yep.
But not ICE would have to come in for them. Well, we do have customs, though. We have Customs and Border Protection here because the airport is an international airport.
That's true. But they're not largely going out in the community.
No, they're not doing enforcement like ICE is.
Yeah, but I do want to play this clip because he does a great job of outlining if ICE comes to Bay City, here's how the department handles it.
And our department will enforce the laws that we have to enforce without question. My biggest fear is ICE does come to town to go arrest somebody or does something, and we're going to do our best to keep the community safe. That's what we're going to do. But I'm not going to babysit ICE and follow them around. And I worry that given their reputation, citizens will put themselves in a situation where they're obstructing them. If they start obstructing people enforcing federal law, that's where we have to protect ICE and we have to protect them, whether we like it or not. Obstruction is obstruction, whether it's whatever law enforcement agency you want. Obviously, we're not going to stand by, watch them violate anybody's rights, but if they're within the law and people are obstructing them, we will have to act. The reason I'm saying that is because I don't want them to. I would rather have us intervene. We know how to deal with the people of this community. We know how to talk to people. We know how to handle crowds. I don't believe they have had much training on that whatsoever.
I think that's a great statement for how the local PD should handle that situation. And if that is the position of the department, kudos.
Yeah, they operate under different parameters.
They do.
And that was well stated.
I agree.
He made some really positive, good statements.
Yep. So that was his kind of take on, okay, we already have a lot of this under policy. The one thing in these proposals that I said that I thought, that's a good idea, a really, really good point, and maybe it's something that should just be department policy, maybe not city ordinance, was for translation services. They already use this telephone service, but it specifies use some service that isn't associated with the Department of Homeland Security. It's
neutral.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that idea.
I'll tell you a story about that. On my recent train trip last year, my last night I spent in Chicago at a hotel, and I called for a Lyft vehicle to take me to the train station the next morning. The driver of the Lyft vehicle showed up. He did not speak English, and it wasn't. It was a language. I think he might have been Serbian or something like that. But he had a phone on a mount, and I would ask a question. The phone would show a translation to him.
Oh.
And if he had enough English, he would answer me broken, but he would speak it into the phone, and I would hear it back.
Yeah.
And we communicated fine.
Yep.
No problem.
So the way that the city, it sounds like, handles that in Bay City at least, is they've got a service. They'll call up, and there will be an actual person on the other side. But they've got a subscription, and there will be a translator on the phone line that they can use to talk with people.
I think they use that because then they have recourse to go back to that person, and
Yep.
in case there's some legal action.
But I like let's make sure that's not associated with the Department of Homeland Security or Immigration Enforcement, so that it is a neutral party. There's not any fear that then that information is going to come back on whoever is talking to them. Real quick, I said that was going to be my last clip, but
that's all right.
the concern
Go for it.
the concern that the city officials have, the mayor and city manager Dana Muscat, who you hear in this next clip, is that it will affect federal or state funding, but mostly federal funding coming to the city. And this is a statement. These are two statements that I kind of clipped together, but Dana Muscat says that is a legitimate issue. Commissioner Chris Runberg rightly presses her on, okay, where are you getting this information? And Dana Muscat, I think, legitimately, like, she's not concealing anything too bad, but she's like, I'm not comfortable giving that information. So this is the concern of the city, really well played out.
I can give you one example that just happened a couple of weeks ago when we were considering using the BUILD grant from the federal government. We generally ask for letters of support from all of our legislators, statewide and federal. And one of our federal legislators that cover this area contacted me because they were concerned that they were going to do a letter of support. If this goes in place, they're not going to provide those letters of support anymore. So I'm being very honest, like, we are getting calls from legislators about it because they are concerned about future grants. I haven't heard from anybody at the state as far as our funding from them. I think we talked about that the first time, and they were talking about revenue sharing cuts. But we haven't heard from them on this situation, just this recent example.
Through the chair to the city manager, and it's okay if you're not willing to, but for the record, would you be willing to discuss which federal legislator gave you that warning?
I'd rather not discuss that, but I can tell you it's not what you think, like they were not going to give us the funds. They were looking out for us to let us know that if this happens, they don't know what the president is going to do regarding us doing a welcoming city or any of these resolutions. So it was more of a warning to say, you do know this could happen.
So it was an indirect threat.
I don't think it was a threat. It was just passing along the concerns of what's happening at the president level.
It sound like mob tactics to me, but I'll let it go.
So you get a little bit of the rhetoric there. There was a lot of that kind of thing, but I think that both of these people are trying to look out for the city's interests in different ways, and this is kind of how local politics is supposed to work.
And what did the mayor say about it?
The mayor released a statement the following day, so yesterday. Let me see if I can pull it up here. To the relevant point here. My position remains the same. Bay City should not become collateral damage in a symbolic national political fight. Our responsibility is first and foremost to the people who live here, work here, raise families here, and invest here. Resolutions designed to send a message beyond our city limits must be carefully weighed against the potential legal, fiscal, and operational consequences for our residents. More importantly, I believe this moment should refocus us on the issue that will have the most lasting impact on our community, finding and hiring the right next city manager, because Dana Muscat is retiring next month.
Good for him.
So he has expressed intent to veto again.
Which is not unusual. You had asked me during the break, about that, and telegraphing, if you will, what you're going to do. Happens all the time. How many times do we hear political leaders say, no, it's dead on arrival, or, I will veto it? It's not unusual for someone to say that because it's their responsibility and they want it out there. I mean, that's fine.
Yep.
Matter of fact, it's transparent.
It is.
How rare in government.
Yeah. But I think that's kind of where this is headed. Right? At the conclusion of the meeting, they postponed these resolutions, put them back to city staff. I believe the Department of Public Safety is going to have a say. They're going to make some amendments. They had legal opinions and all of this other stuff in there, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Obviously, there are some big opinions either way on it. But
if it does go anywhere, my guess, and this is just my opinion, nothing else, not based on anything, it will be so watered down as to why bother.
That's likely. And I think that's kind of the point that some people are making is it's already almost to that point.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a break, come back. We'll have open phones for the remainder of the hour, 989-752-6111. I'm Art Lewis, along with Jonathan Dent.
I'm dig into it, and I'm out again on the road in the thumb seeing clients. So, this shed a lot of light, and that was great coverage. And it's so important to get just the facts without any hyperbole, without any emotion. And, there was only one tinge of emotion that I caught, and it's when I'm assuming this was an audience member making a comment about mob tactics. Is that what that was?
That was Commissioner Chris Runberg who brought up the proposals.
Who brought up the proposal?
Yeah.
Okay.
And in the meeting itself, there was quite a bit of that kind of biased talking on both sides and asking questions in such a way that it kind of has a dual meaning, but going through and just pulling out the stuff that, like, okay, this is what this is actually
Here's the
about.
facts.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I'm just curious, Jonathan, at the end of the meeting, was it pretty well diffused?
No.
Okay.
This is going to come up again, but I think kind of what Art said is right, that once it goes back to city staff, once they get the amendments made that they need to, especially if they decide to cut out all the stuff that's already in the Department of Public Safety policy, it's going to be so watered down that it's just going to be some symbolic gesture, and what the mayor said with it's more risk than it's worth is kind of going to take effect. And that's my opinion. That's my take on kind of where this is going. It might be that they come up with something that is a really solid package and they end up going through and it doesn't get vetoed. But with this kind of thing, there's too much resistance, I think, that it's not going to make it all the way.
Too emotional on both sides.
Exactly. Yep.
So thank you again for bringing forth facts. And I feel quite relieved after hearing your coverage. So, again, thank you.
All right, Dave, you're welcome. Drive carefully. Bye-bye now. Dave in Bay City. So, I mean, it is one of those divisive issues.
Yeah.
And the hyperbole, as he put it, can get way out of hand. And then you don't know what you're doing. And, it becomes a he said, she said, whatever.
And normally, Art, when something like this comes up, we would get the city manager on. We would get Caleb Rowell, the director of public safety, on. We would get one of the commissioners on, or the mayor or somebody. But I think that, at least for now, while they're in the middle of it, just getting the facts out there. And I don't think they would say more than what they said at the meeting.
No.
If we got them on for a conversation.
No.
So,
but I kind of like the way you presented it. I like the way you picked out the salient points made by the people that have the authority to speak.
Yeah.
And I think that leads to some trust in the reporting, if you will. And again,
I hope so.
We should point out this was the audio from the meeting. You weren't physically there to see it.
Correct. And if you get the opportunity, if you've got 5 hours to burn, it's all up on YouTube.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, that really is 5 hours. It was one topic?
Largely, yeah. There were a couple public, most of it was public comment. I think there were something like almost 40 speakers, MLive counted.
Wow.
Most of them were talking about this one way or the other.
Well, it's one of those emotional issues that draws people out.
Yeah.
So you can have larger than normal attendance and larger than normal response.
And it is an emotional issue. And I've done the reporting. I've told you what happened.
Yeah.
My opinion is that largely these resolutions are based on emotion.
But you know what it is too? It's an emotion not based on anything that's happened in Bay City.
No, it's about what's going on around the country.
What's going on around the nation, and you choose sides, so to speak. It's another one of those divisive issues that are out there. And if we're going to be honest about it, which is the only way to talk about it, it's a left-right issue. If you look at how it's divided and who supports what, it's become a left-right issue for the most part.
With a caveat, and I'll say that I tend to lean right, but when it comes to federal authority entering jurisdictions and behaving in the way that they have been, I'm totally opposed to it.
Well, let me ask you this. Just play devil's advocate for a minute. Acting the way they have, is that because that's the way they came in and they were acting?
No.
Or is that because all the crowds started to try and impede their progress, caused them to act that way?
Largely, it's because of the actions of the crowds and the inaction of local authority.
Thank you. All right, we're going to take a break, come back. Again, the lines are open. We'll get to another caller here in just a moment.
For 60 years, West...
So,
can you say what the code means? What does it stand for? ICE.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
Okay, now we know. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Stay dry.
You too. Thanks, Ron. Bye-bye now.
Yeah, okay, bye.
Next up is Carl in Saginaw. Carl, good morning.
Good morning, Art, Jonathan. I'd like to change the subject for a second. This story about Samantha Guthrie's mother has gone missing for a couple of weeks now.
Yep.
Sorry. One, I think the amount of media attention is way over the top for a story that really doesn't affect, anybody except the family.
Yeah, but there's one reason for that and one reason only. She's the mother of a national celebrity. If it had been Joe Blow's mother, you would have never heard about it. But because it's Savannah Guthrie, and because everybody keeps making statements, I don't know anything about this sheriff, but I think he's had too much FaceTime. I think the FBI feels he has too.
Yeah, one thing is the amount of media attention, and I kind of understand that. But what about the law enforcement man-hours that have gone into this search?
Well, hopefully they would do that. No, I would. Hopefully that would happen. That would happen. You going to let me finish?
Go ahead.
Hopefully, if Joe Blow's mother were kidnapped and this kind of information was coming forward to them as to trying to find out who did it, and there were video and all that stuff, it would happen. You'd never hear of it. You don't hear about thousands of investigations that happen every day that require the kinds of attention you're seeing in this one. But because it's public,
When Joe Blow goes missing, they're not contacting people with their Ring cameras.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Because
you're wrong.
It never happened.
You're wrong.
They are contacting those people,
You
Carl.
are wrong, Carl. They contact them all the time because that technology is out there now.
And with the use of flock cameras, things like that, they have that surveillance and they have access to it without needing to ask individuals for it. But by and large, when there are situations like this and they're looking for suspects, they will canvass the area looking for Ring cameras, and they'll go up to that house and they'll ask the house owner.
And then beyond that, they'll go to cameras set up in neighborhoods, and they'll go to traffic cameras, and they'll go to all kinds of technology they didn't have 20 years ago.
But I'm going to disagree with you, Art. Hopefully, they would put this much effort into if Joe Blow's mom goes missing. But I think because of the media attention on it and the pressure from the public, I have a feeling there's a little bit more effort going into it.
I'm going to disagree with you because the FBI would love all that attention to go away.
I'm sure they would.
So, I'm going to disagree that point.
I think I think the man hours spent on this, would dwarf what they